You know, this coronavirus has changed everything. This season of pandemic stirred a lot of thoughts and passions in a lot of people, both about health and the economy. And, you know, for a guy who has spent the last 4 or 5 years really studying and preaching about the sacredness of work in the marketplace, and then all of a sudden the marketplace is completely ravaged on a global scale. It's shut down. Work stoppages are seen really as an inconvenience. We've got people losing jobs. I think 10% of the American population is now filed for unemployment in the last 2 months. It stirs in me a desire to speak up and to clarify, because there's some things that we've been talking about here at the Stone Table for the last 4 or 5 years that really are on full display in various ways right now, you know. And so I will clarify this. I am not a doctor. I am not a scientist. I am not a epidemiologist. I'm a businessman and a follower of Jesus who just believes that the gospel redeems and resurrects all things, even in moments like this, where we see the ravages of a global pandemic. There's some things that have just stuck out to me during this time as it comes to faith and work and the economy and how we're dealing with what's going on around us. And the first is just this reminder that the economy is a sacred thing. It's a sacred thing. The economy is the beautiful intertwining of human lives in service to one another. It's adding value to the life of another human being. It's this using of our unique and individual gifts and the way God has made us to need one another, to come together, to offer service, to offer goods, to offer things to one another that we're either incapable of doing or we don't have the ability to do in the same capacity. And it's this intertwining of human lives that is beautiful. It's using our gifts to serve others. It's part of how we were made as image bearers of God. The economy is not just the stock market, retirement funds, 401k. It's not just about money. It's about human flourishing and human interaction. And I think that is a vital thing for us to learn and remember as we're watching it unfold in this season. The second thing that's really stuck out to me in this time is how much we all as human beings are idol worshipers. We're idol worshipers. And we see these in these moments where all of the things we put our faith and trust in fall away or they shake. And we realize that our faith and trust have been in all of these temporal things and not in eternal things. And as much as I believe the economy is a beautiful, God-ordained, sacred thing, economic idolatry, the worship of the economy, the holding up of the economy as something that we place our faith and trust in holistically is actually a sin. So the economy is good. Economic idolatry is a sin, and we see that, right? We've also seen the idolatry of science. It seems that scientists now are the priests of today's culture, and that their modeling and their future predictions are actually our prophecies. And we see our culture idolizing something that is actually part of God's creation. Science, the economy, the marketplace, government, these are part of God's creation, but they were never intended to be held up in a place of ultimate authority. So we see scientific idolatry. We see government idolatry. Again, the government has a role to play, but it seems that we're all looking to the government, whether it's Republicans or Democrats or local government or federal government. We're looking to them to fix and solve all of our problems, and we've placed all of our hope and trust there. And so we see these idolatries. All of these things have a role in God's kingdom, but they're not meant to overtake His sovereignty and His rule. And our call in this time is really to repent and return and trust in Jesus. And then I'm just reminded of this time of economic shutdown and slowdown, that work, this is one of the things we've talked about so much here at the Stone Table, that work is one of the ways we love our neighbor. You know, I saw when this pandemic came out and began back in mid to late March, I saw all of these posts on social media that were like, hey, stay at home. This is how we love our neighbor. And I get it. I get it, and I agree with it. It's just not a holistic view, right? When the gospel redeems our lives, then we no longer work for our salvation. We work from our salvation. And our work, our day jobs, whether you are a brain surgeon or you sweep floors at a local fast food restaurant, our day jobs are intended to be a fulfillment of the Great Commandment. When the alarm goes off every morning, we get the chance to get up, honor God with the work of our hands, and love our neighbor. And so it's a reminder to me, as we've closed businesses, as we've closed workplaces, that we're actually closing down one of the key ways we have been designed as human beings to love and serve one another. So my prayer during this season is that God would give us wisdom, that He would forgive our sin and our idolatries, that He would heal the sick and comfort the mourning, that He would give wisdom to our leaders, our government officials, to understand when and how to engage this problem in a wise and common sense way. But I really hope in this time, as we've seen the shuttering of the economy, as we've seen the closing of the marketplace in so many ways, that God would also remind us of His original design, that He would remind us and renew and restore to us the purpose of our work, of the economy as a whole, that we would all re-embrace a passion to love our neighbor through the work of our hands. And then ultimately, that He would show us the futility of all of the things we've trusted in outside of Him, and that we would all return to Jesus because He is our only hope.